All right, good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Welcome to the Big Question on Women Radio, WFM 91.7. I am Kimberly Ubiabo, your host on the Big Question. 14 minutes past 12, your beloved Women Radio station, Nigeria's first and only radio station for women and their families. And on Big Question this afternoon, we're looking at supporting women empowerment to end poverty in Nigeria. Supporting women empowerment to end poverty in Nigeria. Our guest is Barrister Jamila Babuba. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Madam Kimberly.
Good afternoon. Good to have you join us. So it's pronounced Babuba, right?
Yes.
All right, that's great. So she's the president of Adamawa Women Initiative for Leadership and Development. And together we'll be looking at supporting women empowerment to end poverty in Nigeria. Now, supporting women empowerment is key to gender equality and advancing women's growth and development. We need to consciously invest in and support women empowerment to ensure that women are not discriminated against in any sphere of life. Empowering women in the economy and closing gender gaps in the world of work are key to achieving the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and, of course, achieving the Sustainable Development Goals, particularly Goal 5, to achieve gender equality, and Goal 8, to promote full and productive employment and decent work for all. Also, of course, Goal 1 on ending poverty. So clearly, eradicating poverty in Nigeria needs to start with women, and empowering women is just one of the key points to start with. Now, back to you, Barrister Jamila. What societal challenges do you think needs to be made for the society to recognize the role of women?
Yes, to me, the societal challenges we actually need to change the aims of women. We have the socio-economic challenges, we have the political challenges, and the legal and the general challenges as well.
All right. Yeah. Go on.
Yeah.
Let's. You talked about the legal change.
Sorry?
Yeah, you named some changes. Please go over it again. Societal changes.
Yes. We have the societal changes we actually need. We have the social challenges. We have the economic challenges. We have the political from the political side. We have the general challenges, and then the legal aspect also. We need these challenges to change the narratives of women in the society.
All right. So what are some of the social challenges you're talking of?
Yeah, the social challenges, when we talk about the culture, our culture, the norm in the society, there is this stigma of women being submissive, being not really being active. We know when you compare the issue of a female and a man naturally is a powerful being, and he's been aggressive, and in so many ways he is at the front runner. But when you talk of a woman in participating, in getting herself involved in all these things, she's always relegated at the background. So we like women in all these aspects, the political aspect, being involved in the political scene, and then even the legal side also. There is this issue of, women have been like in the party structure now.
Yeah.
You see the women, they have not been paid for the work being done. They've been campaigning. When you talk of women coming out to campaign and all those areas, they'll be the cheering ones. But when it comes to payment or considering them in appointed for elected positions, they are always it's always a kind of a low thing. And then when you talk about empowerment, the women don't really have enough. They have low, considering the resources. So these issues, there is need for changes in all these aspects.
Okay. Now, what are some of the steps? What are the steps to women empowerment? Because hunger and poverty is really affecting women firsthand.
Yes. I would say this step we really need to for women to improve in their status, the status of being on the lower side always. We will need empowerment. The first thing is to empower a woman. There is this saying that says when you empower a woman, you kind of like empower the whole nation. And then we need women to be involved in the decision making. The women should be leaders. They should be placed at the leadership positions also. When women are leaders, I think they make more impact in giving decisions regarding policy formulation and all that. And then there's this issue, women, the issue of employment is also another thing. The women need to be given jobs in order to reduce the issue of poverty and in the society. When a woman is being given her job, she's submissive to all these things.
Yeah.
She's submissive to her job, and then she does it well. And by doing that, and then she's when she earns and all that, she doesn't just use it for herself. She passes it down to her own family and to the society as well. And then the woman, she should. There's need for investment in women, in entrepreneurial ideas, and emotionally and financially. The government or the international organizations need to invest in women also. When there is no finance, it really affects the woman even financially.
Okay.
That's what I think. And then there should be action against unpaid labor, as I said earlier.
Okay.
There is action on unpaid labor because women. I consider women to me mostly as a workaholic. You find out that a woman will be working from morning till night, and then the men, you will see them being a kind of like redundant and so on. And then extending it to organizational level, I think they should be paid for the labor done. And then finally, I think there should be mentoring professionally for women, and then personally also, there should be kind of like a personal relationship between a neighbor and a neighbor, to a kind of like neighbor your partner or your friend or all that, or from the organizational level at the higher rank. There should be mentoring to women to improve their stature. Thank you.
All right, 21 minutes past 12. This is the big question on Women Radio. You can be a part of the conversation. Share your thoughts on how women empowerment can be supported to end poverty in Nigeria. 07000 917 917. We have our guest, Barrister Jamila Babuba, President Adamawa Women Initiative for Leadership and Development. And I am Kimberly Obiaba, of course. Now, Jamila, how can we ensure that women cease to be marginalized in decision-making processes?
Wow, this is really a big question. To ensure that women are no longer marginalized, I think there is need for women to get themselves participate in organization decision-making. When they are being involved in formulating policies and executing them, that way, they cannot be marginalized. And then another issue is the political accountability, the issue of gender equity and women's empowerment from the government side. And then I think the issue of gender should be made clear that a woman needs to be assisted. She needs to be lifted up, at least to keep the equation balanced, because naturally women are weaker vessels. So when you assist a woman, it's like placing a stool equally. When you place a stool equally for both a man and a woman, for them to view, from a far distance, you find out that the woman seems to achieve more. So I think the woman should be lifted a little bit high to be.
Did you say women are weaker vessels?
Yeah, they are. They are actually.
How so? How do you mean?
Yeah, when you think of naturally they are kind of like weaker to the men. When you talk about
like strength, okay.
That's what I mean. But when it comes to when it comes to executing things and all that, the women have the talent, but they need to be lifted, to encourage them participate in all the decision making and all that. And then the issue of leadership and political leadership, there should be participation, representation of women in elective and appointive positions. I think there should be kind of like a quota, a numerical representation between at the party level and from the executive side also. There should be representation of women. Women should be given their quota. And then participation of women economically and in decision making, economically in decision making, there should be a kind of like in domestic and institutional financial decisions. Even at the domestic level, the women should be there should be participation of women to show that they can take control.
Okay. All right. Now, what's the role of civil society organizations and, of course, NGOs in organizing empowerment programs for women?
Yeah, the role of civil society organizations, they should organize empowerment programs for women. There should be vocational training to women, and then there should be self-training to women also. Women need to be protected. That is why we have the issue of legal aid and then self-awareness programs also to women. I think if CSOs will consider all these things and take women as priorities also, women will be, the issue of poverty will be reduced within the women.
Okay. All right. Speaking of lifting women out of poverty, you mentioned that society needs to change, even in the financial aspect now. What do you think the CSOs can do when it comes to empowering women financially?
What I think is that, the CSOs, there should be empowerment. That's what I said. Empowering the woman. When you empower a woman, you give her some kind of... when you talk about empowerment, it's not just like giving someone money or all that. You can do training. That's also another aspect of empowerment. When you train the woman, there should be capacity building on all issues. Like even in politics, when you give her direction, when you mentor the woman, is a kind of like empowering her. And then when she gets to the leadership level, when she understands what is happening, she can be able to be a good leader and then provide for the society or her family.
Okay. Is there a different approach when you talk about women in rural areas?
Yeah, women in rural areas, I think they should. Yeah, I think there is. Because at the rural areas, giving them a kind of like intellectual whatever is somehow, it will really work. You have to start from empowering them, like giving them some trainings on how to make like vocational training and then making like bags, making all those things. So you have to start from there. That's what I think. But at the urban level, you need intellect now because we've been having a lot of trainings. And the woman, like the women now, they have the knowledge. But their problem right now is how to implement this knowledge that they have. And then for them to really implement the knowledge they have, they need finances. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So I think it's good to give the woman the final push for her to implement the knowledge she has at the urban. And then
All right, we'll reconnect with Barrister Jamila Babuba. She's the president of Adamawa Women Initiative for Leadership and Development. We're going over the big question this afternoon, which is supporting women empowerment to end poverty in Nigeria. You too can share your thoughts, 07000 917 917. Supporting women empowerment is key to gender equality and, of course, advancing women's growth and development. We need to consciously invest in and support women empowerment to ensure that women are not discriminated against in any sphere of life. All right, 07000 917 917. All right, go on. You were talking about women in rural areas.
Yeah, the rural areas should be empowered by giving them vocational trainings and then self-empowerment issues, and then they should be supported also.
Okay. Now, let's talk about the government now. How can we get the government to give more platforms to women, to enable women, take on more seats in the affairs of the state?
Yeah, what I feel is, we've been dealing with issues of party structure, and then from the executive side, in the issue of appointing and then electing women, considering the fact that we've been having some kind of like an internal issues and we've been undergoing that, I think at this stage it should be better for the government to kind of like pass a law that we create special seats for women at the National Assembly and State Assembly, and then to kind of like give women the forum or the platform to kind of like speak up for themselves.
Okay, all right. That's what you think the government can do. Now, when we talk about empowerment, is there any such thing as psychological empowerment?
Yes, there is. That's what I said. That psychological empowerment, like all the issue, like we have Electa Future Law program. The woman is being there. Even if you create seats for the woman, you have to kind of like groom her, mentor her, for her to kind of like be ready for the seat she is going for. So I kind of like applaud the Electa Future Law program that is currently going on, because it also has to do with issues of psychological problems. Because the woman will be scared, you have a kind of fear that even when I go there, how will I represent my people? So with this kind of mentoring and all that, it clears the issues of fear and scaredness of being at the seat.
Okay. All right. Now, away from the government now, you said how the government can give more platforms to women to enable women take on more seats. Now, do you also think that some people have suggested that maybe women should come together, form their own political party and, work together to take on more seats in the affairs of, the state or the country? Do you think is this a realistic approach?
Yes, if really women will be committed, I know I'm a woman actually, but the problem of women is also within ourselves. Look at when Sarah Jibrin contested for presidency. Nobody voted for her. I think she only voted for
Who's
herself.
that?
Yeah, I think it's good to take our mind away from the issue of envy and all that.
I didn't hear you clearly. I can't really hear you clearly.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go again. You said a woman ran for president, yeah? And nobody voted.
Yeah, the woman that ran for president, the woman didn't support her. We have issues even within ourselves. So if women can really come together, if we really know what we want and we're ready for it, of which I'm not sure we are, regarding the issue of creating a political party for ourselves, I think the passage of the law is better for them to give us our quota. I think that's fine. Within the political parties, it's better for a passage of the law to be given to women than for women creating their own party. I think there will be influence from the men, of which actually there is this issue of men being supportive to women. If the men can support women, I think it will work. But I don't know. It's a big question. We should encourage men also to support women. But for now, if it will work at the long run, fine, because we're just starting now. But what we really need for now is the issue of quota system.
Okay. So what would you say is the role of women at the helm of affairs now when it comes to empowering other women, and also when it comes to ensuring that more women get more seats in the affairs of the state? Yeah.
The role of women is safe for men.
No, the role of women currently, in leadership positions. What do you think they should be doing more or doing differently when it comes to empowering women in the country?
Yeah, the women, there should be a kind of like self-awareness. There should be awareness, and then there should be inclusion. They should get themselves involved in all these things. And then the women should kind of like try and participate in all these organizational issues. They should try and get focus on employment regarding resource groups and networks. And then there should be a kind of like conversations or providing coaching and mentoring within themselves so that they will understand the issue of being a leader.
Okay.
That's what I
All right.
yeah.
Now, on the issue of men, now, how can we sensitize men on the need to support women empowerment to ease economic stress?
Yes, the men should also be part of, they should be involved in economic empowerment of women. They should be assisting the women, and then they should be involved in programs. There should be training, capacity building, and all that. Awareness on the issue of women being leaders, good leaders. You know, when you get women being involved in, being involved in all these things, you see that the men will support the women. You know, like in FIDA now, we have what we call FIDA and husband. It's like a kind of a way of bringing them into women movement. When you get them involved in women movement, you see that the leadership of women goes on and on. And then, like in, like this 16 days activism of women coming up by November 25th, the topic is against violence against women, the theme for this year. So there should be a kind of like sensitization or awareness on issues of like asking that where are the men, they should support women in all their activities.
All right. Do you think the problem with men not supporting women enough, is it the same problem everywhere, like in every part of the country, or you think it's more in some parts and not, not as much in other parts?
It's almost everywhere, but in the northern part, I think it's more because of the culture and the norms here. You know, you see even right from birth, you see when a female and a male child is being born, you see that even now there is a kind of like segregation trying to push the boys more than the women. So even at in leadership positions and all that, even elective and appointed positions, you see a kind of like a men being supporting the men more than the women. So I think it's more here in the north.
Okay, so how do you suggest that's the sensitization for the men in that area now? How do you suggest this can be achieved for them to support more women, to become economically empowered and also to take up to go into politics if need be?
Yes, we've been trying, most especially, as the president of Adamawa Women Initiative for Leadership and Development, we try to create awareness. We try to do conferences. We try to do like all these advocacies, telling them that there is need for inclusion of women at the party structure, even at the executive part, and then appointed positions. There was a time we tried pushing for the issues of women inclusion regarding appointments of permanent secretaries, and there is results. The governor appointed more women at the permanent positions. And then now at the party structure, at least there is awareness and everything that women are now ready to take leadership serious. So there is involvement even at the Congress level now. More women are being there. Like in this dispensation, the 8th Assembly, the 9th Assembly, there is reduction of women at the State Assembly. So with the creation of this Adamawa Women Initiative and for Peace and Initiative for Leadership and Development, we try to push awareness that we need more women at the party structure, appointed positions and all that. So I think there is improvement.
Okay, how about the political will on the part of the women too? Is that a challenge for you at the Women Initiative for Leadership and Development?
Yes, it's a challenge, but that's what we're trying to see, that there is also awareness within ourselves.
Okay. All right. This is the big question on Women Radio, WFM 91.7. 22 minutes, 18 minutes to the top of the hour. And we are going over supporting women empowerment to end poverty in Nigeria with our guest barrister Jamila Babuba, President Adamawa Women Initiative for Leadership and Development. Now, Do you think that the financial incapability of some women has led to the rise in sexual and gender-based violence?
Yes, I think so. Because, a woman, being a woman, naturally, you kind of like see yourself as if you can't do some other things. And then not doing things to get to be financially buoyant, you see that there are things that, like when you go for politics now, you kind of see that there is segregation because you don't really have the money to buy a ticket and all that. Of which, if you can't afford having the ticket, a man or somebody will kind of like, okay, I will give you that. Is he really giving you that with good heart or something? Then you see a kind of like the gender-based violence issue will come in now. Trying to get yourself to be submissive to him and all that. So I think it's really influenced the issue of gender-based violence.
Okay, speaking of sexual and gender-based violence, the Edo State government has said it would establish specialized courts for the speedy trial of rape and other sexual and gender-based violence offenses in the state.
Yes.
Lagos State is also doing the same, and we also heard from the federal government that they are going to set up, a special court for sexual and gender-based violence. What do you think about this? What does this mean for women?
I think it's really a welcome development. Creating a special court for gender-based violence to facilitate passage of judgment, it's really good. Even in Adamawa State, like last week, we were at the FIDA meeting, so they are NEC meeting. They are encouraging the issue of special courts for gender-based violence. So even in Adamawa State, we have the VAP law of which was passed last month to cater the issue of violence against persons and then the gender-based violence also. So I think it's a welcome development, and in Adamawa State, we passed a law that caters that.
Okay. Now, also, let's talk about, I don't know if you would share your thoughts on technology as a way to empower women. Do you think this is a tool? This is a way that, a tool that can be used to empower women? We had the International Girl Child Day, and, we talked about the digital generation, the digital world, and how technology can advance development and empowerment for women.
It will enhance development. The technology is a good thing for now, because without the technology, you won't be able to get information. Even just by using the Facebook and all that, you get information from Facebook, from WhatsApp. You create WhatsApp groups. You pass information to the WhatsApp. Mostly, for example, like during the COVID-19, that was even the time I even passed information more, because from the comfort of your home, I gave lessons, I gave stress lessons, I gave issues of involvement in politics, lessons on that and all that regarding women participation. And that was even when you see impact being made more. When you invite women to workshops and they go for meeting and all that, issues of women. But when you are in the comfort of your home, you try to understand and assimilate things easier. That's what I feel. I don't know, maybe because I'm an introvert or something.
Yeah.
But to me, I think it worked. It worked for me, and I think it worked for us at the Adamawa Women Initiative, because we've gone far beyond just working around with papers, huge papers like that. There's improvement. The digital world is a welcome development. And then the issue of the girl child, as of that time, we've seen that there is even a girl that is being taken to Abuja to represent at the next meeting of the ministers for 1 week. And then she gave her own input. I think it's a welcome development. Without the technology, nothing will happen.
All right, we'll call our guest back. This is the Big Question on Women Radio, 17 minutes to the top of the hour. We're going over, supporting women empowerment to end poverty in Nigeria with our guest, Barrister Jamila Baboba, President Adamawa Women Initiative for Leadership and Development. we need to support women empowerment. That's one way we can end poverty in Nigeria. We can leave that out. So you can also share your thoughts, 07000 917 917. This is the big question on Women Radio, WFM 91.7. All right, you were saying?
Yes, what I was saying is that technology is a welcome development at this in this century.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, now, we're taking it to the homes now. When it comes to the homes now, how do you think women can be empowered? Because in some homes, you still find out that the girl child is still not deemed fit to, get education. And, a lot of parents still don't see the need to invest in the girl child, to empower the girl child. Yeah.
I think more concentration should be given to the girl child, because I gave an example earlier on. A girl is like when they get a girl and then she's grown up and then she gets herself involved in leadership level and all that. You kind of like see that the whole family or the society is improved. So it's a good thing to get the girl child involved in educational issues. Talking about the current, the 2022 budget, I can see that the president emphasized more on the issue of gender sensitivity. So there should be more involvement of women in all things, more especially the girl child.
All right. Now, how do you think we can, rally support, get more people or organizations to support women in their different communities, no matter how small?
Yeah, no matter how small, there should be mentoring issues. There should be the final push, like I said earlier. The final push being that even if you mentor women, even if you give them training, even if you give them, if you teach them how to be self-sufficient
on things. Okay.
There's this final push. The financing. That's the more or the thing that is really affecting women, because they are related. They don't have financial. They don't have finance mostly. So I think the civil society, the government, or the civil society organizations should kind of like empower women by giving them some tokens or some money that will empower them to kind of like get themselves involved in a kind of like politics, or empower themselves in trainings or all that. There should be a check on women that have interest to me on politics. If there are women that have interest in politics, they should be financially backed up.
Who should back them up financially?
Financially, the government is good. The INGOs are there. The NGOs are there. What Electricity Solo program is a good thing. I think the government or the INGOs or some other NGOs should also copy from them.
Okay, all right. Now let's look at what you think about female political aspirants investing in. I mentioned this earlier, but how do you think they can invest? Beyond just mentoring now. How do you think they can, invest more in women?
You talked about female aspirants investing on women aspirants. Is that the question?
Yes. Female political aspirants investing in women empowerment.
Okay, investing in women empowerment. If you say female political aspirants investing in women empowerment, it's like them investing in themselves. That's how I see the question.
Okay.
Am I right?
Yeah, go ahead. Make of it what you will.
Okay. If they can kind of like help each other by contributing when a woman wants to participate in politics, or if she wants to contest, since the government and all other IGOs are still a kind of like low, they can come in as a society or as an organization to help themselves, and then they can contribute a kind of like form. If she wants to buy the form and then she can't get that form, or there's issue of logistics and all that, there's issue of tax clearance and all that, I think they should come up with a credible person, a person that has capacity, that they know will present their constituents and then assist the woman.
All right, let's get your final words on the big question this afternoon, Barrister Jamila Babuba.
Yeah, my final suggestion would be the men should really support the women. That's what I want the men should really do. They should support the women in issues of empowerment, in issues
But is it up to the men?
Sorry?
Is it up to the men?
It's not really up to the men. The women, after getting themselves involved, the women can also support them. Because even if you get yourself involved, let's say your husband now will come and say, no, even if you're doing the politics, I don't want you to do that politics, just stop it. So the women should really come up also. That's what we really want now. The women should support the men should support the women.
Okay.
In all areas, yeah.
All right. Those are your final words for supporting women empowerment. Okay. Thank you very much, Barrister Jamila Babuba. Thank you for your time with us on The Big Question.
You're welcome.
Have a very beautiful week. Now it has been The Big Question on Women Radio. I am Kimberly Obiabo, your host. Like I said earlier, supporting women empowerment is key to gender equality and advancing women's growth and development. So we need to consciously invest in and support women empowerment to ensure that women are not discriminated against in any way. Empowering women in the economy and closing the gender gaps in the world of work are key to achieving the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. And so that's very key. So let's do all hands should be on deck. Support the girl child, support the woman, and we have a better society and country at large. I am Kimberly Ubiebo, and thanks to our guest again, Barrister Jamila Babuba. We talked about supporting women empowerment to end poverty in Nigeria. Enjoy the rest of the day's broadcast. It has been The Big Question. Tune in same time tomorrow from 12:15 to 1.